The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race officially concluded from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Kyle Busch wins an incredible photo finish against Stewart Friesen at Atlanta. What's going, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Freight 208. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, let's begin by talking about the last 20 laps of this race. So, beginning with the guy who would go on to win this race, that being Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch had the best truck in the field. He was making moves that were really impressive, making moves to the inside. He would get passed at one point by Chandler Smith with around 10 laps to go. He would make a run to the inside and get the lead back. There would be people that make moves in the inside like Luke Fenhaus and Grant Enfinger, who of course tried to get the race lead. They could not get by him. And then eventually with a couple laps to go, with around 2 to 3 laps to go in the event, Stewart Friesen got a really good run to the inside and got by Kyle Busch going into turn number 3 and past coming to the white flag of the race. Then going down the back straightaway, Kyle Busch would go to the inside with a really good move, and they would come down the back straightaway side by side with Grant Enfinger pushing Kyle Busch up to the front. They would go side by side going into turn number 3. A bunch of great pushes from Tyler Ankrum as well, as they would come down the tri-oval side by side, no contact, beating and banging. They were racing really fair, really clean, coming down the front straightaway. It looks like Stewart Friesen is going to be the guy to go to victory lane. Nope, that does not happen. Coming to the tri-oval, Kyle Busch holds off Stewart Friesen, makes a run to the inside, and gets by Stewart Friesen and wins by 17 one-thousandths of a second, and Kyle Busch picks up his first truck win of 2025. What an absolute masterclass by Kyle Busch. He had the best truck in the field. There is no question on that. He made moves that most drivers could not make in this race today. And that number 7 truck looked really impressive. He is my pick coming the weekend because of how good that truck looked. He was the best truck in the field. Struggled a bit early in the race, but he got that truck up front, and he picks up his first truck win. And you think about the start of this year for Kyle, right? He really struggled, got crashed into 500, did not have a good clash. I know it's just a truck series and all. It's still not going to stop those contract talks and other things, but this is a really good confidence booster going into the cup race, tomorrow afternoon, which I think he's got a really good chance and opportunity to get that win tomorrow. Congratulations to Kyle Busch on an absolute well-deserved win and a well-deserved victory. Congrats to Kyle Busch on picking up the win and a really awesome photo finish. One of the closest finishes in Truck Series history, 17 one-thousandths of a second. Congratulations to Kyle Busch on picking up the win. Before talking about the race results, there were some other incidents that happened on the racetrack. Coming around 60 laps to go in this race, Raj Kruv was running second or third position behind Kyle Busch. He got loose coming down the front straightaway and unfortunately triggered the big one. Andres Perez got collected. William Walsh got turned by Tyler Ankrum coming down the front straightaway. He got collected in the wreck. And also I believe that Gio Ruggiero got some damage in the wreck. And Daniel Hemrick, who had a chance to win the truck race at the end of the day, he got caught in the wreck as well. Tough break for Raj after starting the year off last year on a strong note. He's starting the year off not on the best note. He will have to basically try to get a win at this point. Just not the best start to the year for Raja. Back-to-back 30th place finishes. Not a great day for Raja. There was a crash for Frankie Muniz that happened down the back straightaway with about 40 laps to go in the race. Daniel Hemrick tried to move up the track and tried to make a move to clear, and he wasn't clear, and Frankie had nowhere to go and ran to Connor Mosack, who dominated the early portion of the race, who won stage number 1. Both those guys were having really good runs. Tough break for Frankie and tough break for Connor, but I believe Connor still got a top 20 finish. Yeah, some drivers had some fuel pressure issues. Corey Heim, who was really good early in this race, near the end of stage 2, he ran out of gas and ran out of fuel and would go 4 laps down. He made one of those laps up by taking the wave around, but his chance to win would come to an end, finish around 25th to 26th after winning last week's race at Daytona. Also, Ty Majeski had the same issues, but he recovered and actually, I believe, got a really solid finish. I believe he got a top 10, so good run from him there. Other than that, there was some other stuff that happened, but to me, the racing was good. So now, let's talk about the race results, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. So Kyle Busch picks up the win. Stewart Friesen finished second. Great run for Stewart Friesen. Man, it looked like Stewart Friesen was going to have a chance and opportunity to win this race. Came very close to picking up the win. But a solid start for Stewart, because I believe Stewart got a top 10 last week at Daytona too. So really good finish for Stewart. He hasn't been as consistently up front contending for wins and victories. So I'm really happy for Stewart to have a good run. Great run from him in second place. Tyler Ankrum finished third. Great bounce back race after what happened at Daytona last week where he fell out of the race early. A really solid run for Ankrum to get a top 5 finish. I think he will win a race before the end of the year. Good speed for him. He finishes in third. Great run for him. Bailey Curry finishes 4th. Really good run for Bailey Curry. It looked like he was going to have a chance and opportunity to win. He was up inside the top 5 and top 10 most of the day and comes home with a really strong top 5 finish for a guy who's not even full-time this year in the Craftsman Truck Series, which let's be really probably should be full-time at this point. A really good start to the year. He finishes in 4th. Chandler Smith finishes 5th. Had a decent run last week, I believe, finishing inside the top 10, and comes home with a top 5 finish here at Atlanta. A really good run for Chandler Smith. Chandler had one of the strongest trucks in the field and was in position to win the race. Unfortunately, made a bad move at the end and lost a couple sides at the end of the race, but still comes home with a top 10 finish in 5th. Good run for him. Caden Honeycutt finished 6th. Ran top 10 all day, had one of the strongest trucks in the field. He looked like he had a chance to beat Kyle, but a really good run nonetheless for Caden. We get a top 10 finish. Ben Rose finished 7th. Really good run for Ben. He was in position to win this race, but unfortunately, drivers just got by him at the end and lost a ton of track position and lost a ton of ground. He comes home still with a top 10 finish, a good recovery after getting a bad finish at Daytona. Good top 10 run for him. Ty Majeski finished 8th. After getting a top 5 at Daytona last week, comes home with a top 10, had those fuel pressure issues and recovered and bounced back and gets the top 10 run. Really good run for Ty Majeski. Jake Garcia finished 9th. A much better start for this team compared to last year. Back-to-back top 10s start the year. Getting the same amount of top 10s as he had last year. We only had 2 top 10s. I'm glad to see Jake Garcia running well because last year was a disastrous year. He ran about as bad as Haley Deegan in 2024. So really good run for Jake Garcia to get a top 10. And Grant Enfinger finished 10th. He had one of the strongest trucks in the field, but lost track position in the last couple laps. Still comes home with a top 10 run. Good run for Grant Enfinger. Gio Ruggiero finished 11th. He was up front at the end of the race, but unfortunately got split on one of the late race restarts, but still comes home with a top 15 finish. I really think Gio's going to impress a lot of people in the second half of this year. Good run for him to finish in 11th. Michael McDowell finished 12th. He was in the top 5 and top 6 early in the race, but faded back. Had a tire loose, I believe, and I think he almost went down pit road, but he does come home with a top 15. Solid run for Michael McDowell. Matt Mills finished 13th. Luke Fenhouse finished 14th. I was really impressed with Luke. He made some bad moves that cost him a shot at the win, but he was competing for the win with around 15 laps to go. His first around 10 or 11 starts scheduled with the team. A really solid run for Luke inside the top 15. Tanner Gray finishes 15th. Dale Hemrick, who had a chance to win, unfortunately got up on the outside and nearly crashed with 2 or 3 to go. He finished 16th. Dawson Sutton finished 17th. Josh Rion with another top 20 and 18th. Solid run for him today. Spencer Boyd finishes 19th. Lane Riggs finished 20th. A decent recovery considering what had happened to him. He looked like he had maybe the strongest truck early in the race. Then he got that penalty for going below the yellow and red line. Then he had those electrical issues that cost him a shot at a really good run. But he does come up at least with a top 20 finish. So he does come out of Atlanta a much better this time around considering he got disqualified last time we were here. Good run for Lane. Well, not a good run, but at least a better run than what happened last time. 21st place finisher Jack Wood. He looked strong early, but unfortunately had a tire issue. Just tough break. He did win a stage today, which that was really cool to see. But other than that, just a tough break there. He finished 21st. Matt Crafton finished 22nd. He had a tire issue early in the race and had a flat tire that cost him a shot at a good run. Corey Heim finished 23rd. Tony Breidinger, she had a flat tire near the end of the race. She finished 24th, but she was running bad even before, so just a bad day for Tony Breidinger in general. Connor Mosack got caught up in the wreck with Frankie Muniz. He looked to be one of the strongest trucks early, led a ton of laps in this race, but doesn't get the finish that I think he deserved. He finished 25th because he really impressed me today. Frankie Muniz finished 26th. The finish is not going to show where he ran. He ran top 10, top 20 most of the day, was running up front and in contention at points. Just a bad mistake at the end that cost him a shot, a great finish. He finished 26th. Andres Perez, who got caught up in the big Roger crash, finished 27th. Justin Carroll finished 28th. Raj Groove, finished 29th in this race. William Swalsh finished 30th. Nathan Burr finished 31st. 32nd place finisher Keith McGee. And that's the finishing results of the race. So, let's talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. You know, early in this race, I didn't think this race is actually going to be that good. It was a lot of follow the leader up at the top. Connor Mosack pretty much led every single lap of the first 28 or 29 laps. But then, at the end of stage 1, they started making moves, and the bottom definitely could work. And as the race progressed and went on, that bottom lane was working a lot better, and I think the racing was definitely really, really good. Sure, he had a lot of single file in the middle portion of the race, but I think the race itself actually was one of the better truck races we've seen at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And the last 20 laps were absolute cinema. Kyle Busch could just make moves that most guys couldn't make. He was making moves to the inside. Guys were getting up there on the inside. And to me, it actually made for a pretty exciting finish. Had it been for the beginning of the race, I probably would have given this score probably like a 4, maybe 4.5. But because of the finish of this race and it being a pretty dang good finish, I'm going to give today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race overall probably about an 7.5 out of 10. I can't really overlook the first half because the first half wasn't that great, but actually I'll give this race an 8 out of 10 because I think the race got better as it went on. It was a slow burner race, but I think it was enjoyable. My score of today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Atlanta is going to be an 8 out of 10. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race review from Atlanta Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel notifications so if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Kyle Busch on picking up his 67th career NASCAR Craftsman Truck win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. A couple hours from now, you will be seeing the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tomorrow on the channel, you're going to have the NASCAR starting lineup for the And Better Health 400. You're also going to have the Cup review, and you're also going to see potentially a Shane Van Gisbergen video as well. You've got content coming out of people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Cletus McFarlane, all them people like Matt Benedetto, all the good stuff, and Frankie Muniz as well. Probably all this stuff will be coming out on the channel really, really soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.